Hello and welcome to this edition of the Time with Hime Staff Podcast. We're so glad to have you join us. Superintendent Hime, how are you doing today?
I'm doing great. We're excited to share some things with our staff, some of our staff members. We're trying to do a staff podcast as well. So our staff, they need to know we're thinking of them as well, and we're listening to what they have to say.
Yes, sir. And one of the things that we're going to talk about today is the fact that we pushed out a survey to our families, and we've asked them a couple questions. One of them is a possibility of doing nighttime virtual learning and what that looks like. Will you share with our staff?
Well, it kind of derived. We were talking with parents and different people when we were putting together what our options would be and how to make that simple for parents so the choices would be easier. So one thing that parents came, we heard a lot of, we'd like to have a nighttime option. So we put that out there as a possibility, and we have about 60% of the parents so far who have chosen virtual who are looking at the nighttime. So that is something we're going to have to start taking applications for. So virtual looks like it's going to be lean heavier on nighttime. So those teachers out there that are interested in doing virtual school, or they have health reasons or reasons at home, different people around them that are high risk, and they want to do virtual, they need to start looking, because we're going to be putting out some applications pretty quick and taking applications for the virtual school at night so we can staff it, because that's going to be a difficult thing to make sure we can staff it, because obviously the teachers who are working now are signed on for their daytime jobs, and we also may open up some nighttime. We have teachers who have two jobs, so some of them may be willing to work a few hours a week and pay them, $25 an hour or whatever we pay tutors, and I think it's $25 an hour here, and do some of those things. So there may be some opportunities besides full-time, moving you full-time, where you could do some part-time work there and get some extra duty pay.
Now, when we talk about the nighttime option, can you share the hours that we're looking at?
We're looking at 3 to 9. There wouldn't be a break. Most of your work days, so it'd probably be 2:30 to 9. But 3 to 9, and then your plan would be outside of it. That's basically what normal day for our teachers are. They work 7.5 hours of plan, and 30 minutes of it's lunch. So we probably would tell our parents you're available from 3 to 9. That's when you're going to be teaching as a nighttime person, and then your plan time and your meal time would be, before and after that time.
And when can our staff expect to hear something back so that they can prepare to potentially do virtual night?
Yeah, we're hoping to push that out either later this week or first of next week. We're still getting lots of numbers in on the survey, and obviously, as staff members, continue to encourage people to answer the surveys, because we're using the data from the surveys to drive our decision making process. So that's going to come out pretty quick, because that's something. If we're going to offer that, and we've got a great, there's a lot of people out there wanting it, then we got to find a way to staff it without adding cost, because obviously, so we have to use the staff we have and reorganize it and try to find to do, because we can't just add a whole lot of new people to staff, 1,500 students that want virtual. So we'll have to use the staff we have, so have a way to rework that. That's why we're going to be interested in those. Find out how many people we have who work for us now that would be interested in doing virtual at night.
And hearing from you guys, I know we do have some staff members out there that are going, yes, I think this is going to be perfect for me. So we can't wait to hear from you. But then we had another survey where we asked family members about the August 21st date. Can you explain some information there?
Well, schools, one of the general things we've done at school, and I've been in this business for 34 years, is we have a meet the teacher open house back to school night where parents get to come, where students get to come and kind of get oriented, see where their class, especially lower elementary, see where their classroom is. Parents get to go in there, bring their school supplies, meet the teacher. High school, especially 6th and 9th grade, first time in the building, get to go walk through the building when not as many people are there. Parents feel better to do that. So doing that in a social distancing manner, and not having, because there's hundreds of people that are in those buildings. We talked about it at Freedom. There's thousands of people at the building in Freedom or Lawton High on those nights. How do we spread that out? Usually it's a 2 or 3 hour nighttime window. No way you could do it. So we talked about making the first Friday, that was the first day of instruction, which really it is just an orientation, get oriented day, as an instructional day, but also make it the meet the teacher. It would still be part of our calendar. It's a work day. Wouldn't change our work days. But instead of having students there all day, we would do some virtual things with students and kind of check out, just get some paperwork, some of the things we haven't got to do, but more importantly than anything, be able to schedule throughout the day parents the opportunity to bring their child up there and meet their teacher and see the classroom and reassure parents that, we are working to have a safe environment for their students.
And speaking of safe environment, we know that we've talked to our parents about masks, and some of our staff members have asked about the face shield. Can you clarify how we're going to integrate using those?
There's that's one of the things there's a lot of debate about. We feel right now that we're going to be comfortable with staff members using face shields because you can see your face and teach. There are some that saying it's not quite as safe, but we also know that teaching with a mask on and not being able to see your expression when you teach is very difficult. It hinders the learning process. There's some that would, there's some out there that are suggesting some of our lower level teachers wear a mask and a face shield because their students won't be, the pre-K and K students, it'll be more difficult to keep mask on them. So if the teacher has a mask and a safe face shield on, it really protects you. And the only time you'd pull the mask down is when you're teaching the whole group and you're social distancing yourself. And you could pull your mask down to teach so the kids could see your face. But when you're in the crowds and stuff, you have the mask and the face shield. So again, a lot of our recommendations is going to be, we know we're requiring when you're in contact with other adults, you have a mask on. We're putting out those requirements as they go. Some of that stuff changes, and that's one thing we'll talk about. It's still 2 weeks away, 3 weeks away till school starts, and so some of those things will change. But, our biggest thing is you as a teacher, how do you feel safe? And then we need to make sure you're following CDC guidelines in doing that. But we want to, we're not going to tell you can't wear a mask or you can't wear a mask and a face shield if it makes you feel safe.
Well, and we are going to share some of the information with our principals, and they'll share it with their staff as well. So
yes, and they're all developing their own plans. They should be working with their teachers, and we strongly encourage our teachers when they see those plans. It's just some things they think they need to adapt, that they need to do that. But again, we now have this opportunity for teachers to be prepared to apply for some of these virtual positions if they don't feel safe. And obviously, one of the things we'll do is we will probably give that. We will give preference. It doesn't mean you're going to be guaranteed a job, how that all works. But those who are not going to be comfortable, who have conditions or high-risk individuals around them, we'll try to give preference to the virtual jobs if that's a fit. Because, again, that's the right thing to do is try to make it, we've talked all along, we're going to try to create a safe environment where everyone can work in a safe environment for all of our students. So hopefully this balance with the night virtual school and our parents and our students, we get some, you hope the numbers just work out perfect.
Well, and we talk about what kind of things changing in our buildings as we hear more and we get more back from our survey. And one of the questions we had from a staff member was just exactly how the breakfast and the lunch looks and how that is going to take place. And we've had a lot of discussion as of this morning for our staff members. So can you just kind of...
Well, and that's going to be, at the secondary level, one thing we did is, it's something I've done at the other sites I've been at is for secondary, we put a breakfast break in between first and second hour because we want kids to eat. And one of the things that we have here at Lawton is we have a contract with Sodexo who does our meals, and every kid gets to eat breakfast for free. Well, we got the numbers from them of how many were eating breakfast, and no secondary site had over 50%, and all three high schools and one of the middle schools were below 30%. So, we've got 5,000 kids a day not eating breakfast that could eat for free. So we think if we build this break in 4 or 5, we think over 4,000 of those kids will grab a breakfast and eat. And we know that when kids eat breakfast and kids eat, they learn better. So that's, that was just kind of where that is. And, the cheese sandwich days are over. I heard somebody mention that today, and that's just not on my radar. Staff members, I'm going to tell you right now, one of the policies I have, or one of my strong beliefs, is I'm never going to punish a kid because his parent won't pay the lunch bill. We're not going to punish a kid because a parent won't pay their insurance on their iPad. We won't punish a kid. You can't punish a kid for something the parents are responsible for. And paying the lunch bill is a parent responsibility. So we'll work hard at that and make it work. But feeding kids is a goal of ours, and Sodexo does a good job preparing our food. We just need to work hard to make sure all of our kids have opportunities to eat, and we're not restricting those opportunities.
Is there anything that you're hearing that maybe I'm not asking from our staff members you'd like to clarify today?
I really, from my chair, I think sometimes the staff is, a lot of them are listening to the podcast we're doing for the parents because we're really trying to reassure our parents, and those are going smoothly. I just want to make sure our staff does know that we're taking a lot of consideration into your thoughts, your feelings, trying to keep you safe. One of the things with a lot of them are out there that I know they've been wanting a virtual option because they themselves are high risk. Somebody in their house is high risk, and it really concerns them. So we really couldn't put out there how that was going to look. Now that we're starting to get the numbers back of how many students that want virtual and nighttime virtual, I think that I would be willing to. Right now, I do believe that most of you who want a virtual position, there will be a 3 to 9 position open for you. So I would say get ready to apply for that. And if we have more applicants than we have needs, then we'll have to go through the applications. So, and even some of you, I've heard people that have second jobs and things like that. So hopefully in some cases, we may need a math teacher for 2 hours on Monday night. So if somebody with a math certification, maybe they make $50 every Monday night to do 2 hours of math or something, and that's just hypothetical, but maybe we can work out some of those things as well.
And we've been talking about training. We actually have the next 3 or 4 weeks of just nothing but training for our teachers. Most of it voluntary, but we also have the PD boards. Yeah,
those choice boards are still up. Get on them. We got some voluntary training out there. New teacher training is coming. We've got some a boot camp going on right now with some teachers that are working hard to try to get curriculum aligned, because the one thing we're trying to do, and that's probably something we should mention, that it gets to be a scary word. We've purchased Edminum to be a baseline curriculum for our virtual students and for all of our students. But in no means are we telling you have to just log your kids onto Edminum every day and teach them. The purpose of Edminum is you have that baseline, you have that skeleton. If for some reason you miss school or if a student has to go home, to keep you from worrying about making lesson plans. So that's probably one of the things we need to make sure is we're not telling our superstar teachers, and we have a lot of superstar teachers out there that, hey, I know you do a great job teaching, but we want you to teach this virtual platform, and just every day have your kids log on and do this. That's not the intent of it. The intent of it is having something there that aligns with what you do, so the students at home can work along with you. If they come back, they should come in seamlessly. If for some reason you're out, you're not worried about lesson plans and some of those things.
Is there anything I'm forgetting to ask you today?
No, just that we appreciate our staff. We know the teachers are the backbone of our school district.
They are, and we have some amazing people working for us, support as well. So I'm excited to have our secretaries back in the building.
Yes.
They are working hard to get everything done. We do have more information to come, but until then, please make sure you guys are checking your emails and taking advantage of our certified staff, of the choice boards that are online, so you can be prepared too if you are interested in virtual. Sir, thank you for your time.
Thank you, and thank all of you for everything you do.
Until next time, we hope you guys have a wonderful weekend, and we will see you next time.